Mr. Josh here. We are reading Exodus chapter 18, verses 15 through 27. And you and I need to know that it's not all about us. It's not all about you. Life is not all about you. In fact, it is about God primarily. And then also the good things that we do. It is not because of us, because it is because God uses us to do things. And so it's a good concept to understand that we need to put others before ourselves, and there can be a twisted idea of when we become servants and when we help people. We begin to think that we're the glue that holds everything together. That if we weren't here doing what we were supposed to do, that everything would fall apart. And at some level, that is true. You are a big part of the things that you are involved in. But in reality, it is that you are the conduit through which God's works. You are the pipes, if you will, through which the water of God runs through and blesses other people. You're the electrical cords that bring electricity to the people that need it. God uses you, but never confuse the idea that God uses you with the fact that it's God that is actually doing the work. It's not all about you, and Moses needed to understand that. Also, when you understand this too, it actually empowers you to serve, because sometimes we shy away from doing tasks that God actually is asking us to do because we're thinking, I can't do it all that well. There's other people that do that better than me. But in reality, it's not all about you. And in reality, you can learn how to do it just as well as other people, more than likely. So it's not about you, but it's about those that you are serving and the God that is serving through you. So let's read this lesson, how Moses learns this lesson in our reading today. And Moses said to his father-in-law, because the people come to me to inquire of God. Remember, Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, saw that everybody lined up to be taught the Bible from Moses, to be taught the statutes of the Lord. Of course, the Bible wasn't in completion at that time. In fact, there wasn't any part of the Bible yet. Moses would have been in the process of writing that. He would have known the statutes of the Lord, the laws that God had given him. And so he is saying that to people, and Jethro is saying, no, that's probably not a good thing for you to be doing. And he says, why are you doing this? And Moses says, because everybody's coming to me to inquire of God. This is a sin for us to avoid. He is very self-centered. Even though he's helping everybody, he's focusing on himself. They come to me to inquire of God. When they have a dispute, they come to me. And I decide between one person and another. There's the I right there. And I make them known the statutes of God, and I make them know the statutes of God and his laws. Again, very me. They come to me and I tell them, I do this. Now, did Moses was he necessarily doing this in a sinful way? Perhaps not. He didn't perhaps realize what he was doing, but he was making himself the center of the ministry. You don't want to do that. I don't need to do that as a pastor. You don't need to do that in your various places that you are serving. Verse 17, Moses' father-in-law said to him, what you are doing is not good. And that would be a command for us to obey. If it is all about us, and everything truly would fall apart if we go away, then that means we're not doing our job. We're not doing our total job, because we want other people to be able to do what we do. We should always be training other people to do various things. That's the case in church work. That's the case in the business world, in various places that you're doing. You need to be training other people, because if you train other people to do your job and your boss sees you doing that, more than likely your boss is going to give you other things to do, because there's always bigger things that a company or an organization wants to do. You don't want to hold on to it and say, it's all about me. And so Jethro says, what you are doing is not good. You and the people with you will certainly wear yourselves out. It's an attitude for us to adopt, that when we do make it all about us, then responsibilities increase and there's more to do. You're definitely going to wear yourself out. In order for an organization to do more, It must be spread out. Otherwise, you'll wear yourself out when you grow. Same thing with a church. We will certainly wear ourselves out if we are all not participating in the work of the ministry, because we're not going to have enough people and we won't have enough volunteer hours to do everything that we need to do. We must be training other people. And then Jethro goes on to say, for the thing is too heavy for you. You can't do everything that God wants you to do on your own. You're going to need helpers. You are not able to do it alone. Now obey my voice. I will give you advice. And remember, sometimes it's hard to hear this from family members, depending in father-in-laws and mother-in-laws. It could be a difficult thing to receive advice. But here, Jethro is trying to help Moses out. And he says, and God be with you. Here's what you need to do, buddy. You shall represent the people before God and bring their cases to God. And you shall warn them about the statutes and the laws and make them know the way in which they must walk and what they must do. You teach them the laws of God. And I partly even am thinking, like, I bet some of this whole idea of writing down the laws of God that we have in Exodus and that you have in Leviticus and in these law codes that are written down, part of this was probably precipitated by this conversation with Jethro. Moses is like, okay, I need to write this stuff down so we can disseminate it among all the people in Israel. So he says, you must teach them. Moreover, what you need to do is look for able men. Look for people that can help you do the ministry. It's a good command for us to obey, is to look for other people that can help us in the ministry. Look for other people that can help us in the workplace. Look for other people, even within your own household. What are things that you're doing that you can hand off to the kids? I think something me and Stephanie and I are thinking about more as our kids are getting older is thinking about, okay, we want them to be able to be like good housekeepers, right? We want them to be able to cook. We want them to be able to take care of their house and things as they get older. And so we've got to start doing that now. Now, kiddos sometimes aren't exactly thrilled about doing some of those things, but we want to be looking for able people. So there's areas that you can be looking. How can you train other people? So look for able men from all the people, men who fear God, who are trustworthy and hate a bribe, and place such men over the people as chiefs of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens. And so there's actually a hierarchical structure that is put in place for Israel. Moses at the top, and then he has generals, if you will, people that are governors, if you will, that are over 1,000, and then it goes down to hundreds. And then so those people that are over thousands, those are divided into 10 folks that are over different hundreds. Under the 100 one, you got 2 people over the 50s, and the 150 is over 5 sets of 10. And let them judge the people at all times. Every great matter they shall bring to you, but any small matter they shall decide themselves. There's going to be a lot they can decide themselves. So it will be easier for you, and they will bear the burden with you. If you do this, God will direct you. You will be able to endure. And all this people also will go to their place in peace. And look what Moses did. He listened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. It is good wisdom for us to listen to advice of others. Even if it might seem like it might be critical, even if we might think it's silly, we really need to take some time and actually somewhat consider it, because it very well could be the work of the Lord working in your life to show you something you can tweak and change. And I'm not perfect. I don't think you're perfect either. There's always things we can change and get better at. We will never reach perfection on this side of eternity. And so there's always things for us to change. So don't assume that just a critical voice is necessarily against you. In fact, it very well may be the very hand of God trying to direct you in a way that you need to change. So Moses chose able men out of all Israel, made them heads over the people, chiefs of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens. And they judged the people at all times. Any hard case they brought to Moses, but any small matter they decided themselves. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went away to his own country. I pray that has been a blessing to you, and I'll see you all in the next video.